Alright guys, today I want to show you the Ranger roll. We just finished the pinch and fold, fastest way to fold t-shirts, and we're going to have a look at the most space saving ways to fold t-shirts. So the thing to note about this method is that it is slightly more difficult than the previous one. So if you're having trouble with it, you can follow along the steps here in the article linked here. And yeah, that will make it a little bit easier for you. But this is a fantastic fold. It does slightly crease up your t-shirts at times. So if that's something you're worried about, I'm going to show you a better option later. But if you're going out traveling or just want to save the most amount of space, this is the fold to go with. As you can see here, this is how it looks. It's been folded up like this for about now 3 days. And as you can see, there is some slight lines on it there. Now, I think to note is that this is actually a synthetic fabric. So for your cotton, pure cotton especially, and probably linen as well, it's going to be as bad as this. If you have other blends or types of t-shirts, not going to be as bad as this. So we're going to start here by flipping the bottom of the t-shirt inside out like this. So depending on the size of the t-shirt, that kind of dictates how large of a fold you need to make here on the inside out part. Usually about 4 inches or 10 centimeters is plenty. First couple of times you may want to add a little bit extra just to be sure that you don't have too little fabric. Next we're going to take a look at the back side here. This is a common mistake for new practitioners of this fold, and that is that it's not as even on the back side, and actually it's most important that it's even on the back side, more important than the front. So once you've lined that up nicely, 10 centimeters as well, I mean, you don't need to use a ruler to do this, but it should be pretty even. We are going to fold in the arms here so that we create a nice rectangle down the line. Again, you don't need to be super neat about it, but it should be pretty even. It does make things a little bit easier. So here you have a choice coming up here. You can either split the shirt into 4 parts so that you would fold into the middle like this. Now this has certain advantages in that you get a taller roll that is also thinner, but for t-shirts in particular, I prefer to do it like this instead, in that we fold it in thirds instead. So I'm going to flip this one over a third of the ways usually so that it crosses the neck area of the t-shirt. So with the other side, I'm going to fold it in 1/3 of the way as well. So that means it overlaps this side. So with t-shirts, since they're pretty thin usually, I do prefer the thirds way over the fourths way. And that is because well, it's not necessary to make it that thick. If you have a really thick t-shirt or you're using this for a sweater or something, you may want to go with 1/4 instead, as that will, you will see, it just creates a nicer shape. So let me just turn the t-shirt around here so that this this little inside out pocket that we made in the start faces away from me. And with my hands here, I usually like to use these 3 fingers. I'm going to pinch onto this roll and I'm going to start rolling it up. So a thing to note here is if it's really creased up and, you know, uneven fabric, you may just want to even it out a little bit, because we're going to put some compression onto the t-shirt here. So we're going to start rolling. You can also use your other fingers to kind of even it out as you roll up. The tighter you roll, the more creases you usually get. I usually make it so that I put a little bit of pressure on it, but not a lot. But the more pressure you put on it, the smaller your roll is also going to be. So once we reach the top here, I'm going to take my hand, one hand, and I'm going to grab one of the sides of the roll at the bottom half and lift it up like this. So that makes it a lot easier to take my other hand and flip this band around the top here. So we're going to start by focusing on one of the sides. So just flipping it over like this. You can pull it up a little bit like this. Make sure it's nice and secured. So now it is secured on this side. I'm going to take my free hand and I'm going to grab hold of this side. I'm going to turn the entire roll around like this. Now, you probably guessed it, we're going to do the same thing on the other side here as well. This side is usually easier to do, but honestly, once you practice this a little bit, it's pretty easy to do anyway. So you can see this roll is pretty nice and neat, but the first couple of times you do it, it may be a little bit uneven, and that's totally okay. I've come up with this nice trick that you can do, and that is to either put your thumbs or your index fingers here inside of the folded t-shirt and just squeeze the sides in a little bit. Usually it can unravel unless it's totally secure here in against the edges. So do that first, even it out there. And from there you can kind of massage it and make sure it's a nice cylinder shaped t-shirt that you have with you here. So if it's difficult to do this, you can always refer to the article on organizing.tv/fold-t-shirts. And we have step-by-step stuff there. Moving on here, we are going to have a look at another fold, and I think we're going to do the file fold. It's a fantastic one as well. Definitely one of the favorites. So yeah, see you in that video down below.